Hi everyone, and welcome to Press X, the Geek Show podcast network's dedicated video games news podcast. My name's Rob, and I've been playing X-Morph Defense, which is it's a weird kind of tower defense come shoot 'em up type game. Very, very good, a lot of fun.
Ooh.
Joining me today, as always, are Mark.
Hello, I've been playing too many things. I've been slogging through Horizon Zero Dawn finally, and then just playing on the Switch with finally getting some Fire Emblem Warriors and Enter the Gungeon. But most importantly, I've also been playing House Flipper, a game for the PC where you basically decorate and clean up houses to sell them on for profit.
And that that you heard is Andy.
Yes, and I've been playing quite a bit of an Uncharted 2 and 3 marathon over the last 2 days. It's the one series which I'd never really got into. It just passed me by. So I really wanted to play 4 because I bought that, but I couldn't play it until I finished the other 2. So basically I've had a few days off and I've been sitting there playing Uncharted 2 and 3.
Were you sitting there in your pants playing Uncharted 2 and 3?
No, but probably when I play Uncharted 4.
Is that when the pants come off?
Oh dear. Are you enjoying it? That's the question.
Yeah, it's really, some of the bits are really frustrating when you get closer to the end, but I've been really enjoying them.
I do know the feeling because I played Uncharted way back when, and honestly, my best time was actually selling it and buying Valkyria Chronicles, but I'll not get into that. But one of the things that actually really bothers us with Uncharted is something that's really bothering us in Horizon, is that you can't just jump onto anything and just climb up like you can in like Assassin's Creed or Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, you've
got to jump onto specific stuff, and I think I've died more due to that than I've actually died to anything else. And that was all when you said Uncharted. I was just like, oh no, those platforming sections again.
You died more to that and not to the pretty pictures. That was the biggest complaint, wasn't it? For I think it was Uncharted 2, the fact that the graphics were so good at the time. Everybody just kind of died when they reached a new area and just went, "Oh, so nice."
It's basically any type of them games, but Uncharted more particular. When, let's say, a building falls down or something, you're like, "Ooh, a really conveniently placed climbing
climbing section."
Oh, look, those bits are falling into very, very specific cover areas. I think there's going to be a boss battle coming.
You walk into a thing, it's like, I've just done a climb section. Oh, this is a big open area. There's some boxes here. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, yeah, they're shooting at us.
Yeah, it's as if every level was designed by Domino.
Ooh,
have you seen Deadpool 2 yet?
I have, yeah.
No.
Right, okay. I'm not going to spoil it. Mark gets that reference, Andy doesn't yet. But when he watches Deadpool 2, he will understand what I mean by level designs by Domino.
He certainly will. Anyways, enough of Uncharted. I hear there is another shooting game coming out soon. Is that right, Andy?
Yes, and usually when I say this, you'll probably be like, really? But it's another Halo game. And when I first saw this story, basically new Halo game, thinking, another one? Thinking it's really, in my experience, it's really gone downhill as it went along. But this continues on what we were talking about in the last show. It's an arcade game.
Okay, now that's unusual. I mean, when you say arcade game, are you talking like stand at an arcade cabinet with a gun and shoot stuff?
Yes.
And if that's the case, because Halo is famous for not just having the first-person shooting aspect, but also the vehicle aspect. That was one of its big selling points, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So how does that fit in if you're just standing there with a gun?
Well, what I can see of it already, it's more like on a rails shooter, similar to Time Crisis.
Right, so Operation Wolf, Time Crisis, that sort of thing.
It's a cooperative arcade sci-fi shooting game from arcade legends Raw Thrills, and Play Mechanix in a unique partnership with 343 Industries.
Okay.
And it's set in the same time frame as Halo Combat Evolved, so it's not as far along as the games are.
Okay.
And basically, it says it drops players into the boots of Fireteam Raven, and it includes, for example, fighting against the Flood and different enemies from the first Halo. So it actually sounds really good. The only downside is it's announced for later in the year coming to US arcades,
Mm-hmm.
but the odds are it's going to come over here.
I reckon the bigger arcades in the UK, because there aren't really no smaller arcades anymore, are they?
You're going to need a lot of space for this specific arcade machine.
You said it was a group thing, so is it like a 2-player or 4-player or 8-player? What is it?
It's up to 4 players.
Up to 4 players?
And it's like a round, like a curved, before, like, you sit in it, by the way it looks.
Oh, right, so it's like a horseshoe type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see when looking at the picture, it looks like kind of like a driving type.
All right, so you sit down, do you?
You sit down. It looks like you sit down. So it looks like it's got the whole kit for the whole driving game arcade machine, but then it's also got the guns mounted on top as well. So it's, yeah, I can see what you mean about this is going to take up a lot of space.
Okay, so this is more like driving Miss Cortana than anything else.
It looks promising.
Yeah, actually, I've got to say, I'm looking at the pictures of the graphics, and it looks to be all action. I'll be honest, I kind of went off Halo when they sexified Cortana, because they did. Let's be fair. I kind of went off Halo at that point. I was like, yeah, you're just trying to sell merchandise now instead of actually making a game that's worth anything.
I think I was a few hours into Halo 4 and I just stopped.
I've only played the first one. I mean, when you said a new Halo game was coming, I was thinking, actually, it's been a while since the last one.
You want to play the first two, that's why.
There's been about 10 since then.
No, and there's Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Wars was one, wasn't it?
I know there's been quite a few since then. I'm just thinking the last one actually got released must have been a few years, like 2 or 3 years ago now. I don't know what the last one was.
It was Guardians, I think, Halo 5.
Yeah.
Halo 5.
Yeah. And there's like all the Halo spin-offs, and then the Halo comics, and then the Halo graphic novels, and the Halo... And didn't they do like a Halo adventure or something like that? And then there's
Don't
the Halo
forget the
movies.
Halo TV series. Hang on, no, that hasn't happened yet, has it?
Movies. There's no Halo TV series yet.
Steven Spielberg Halo TV series.
No, because Steven Spielberg Halo TV series will just end up like Ready Player One. You know how much I hate Ready Player One.
Oh, I wonder if they'll do a Halo visual novel for Katana.
Oh, he's really working the Segway wagon, isn't he?
Oh, so yeah, it'll get removed anyway.
No, leave it in.
If it's on Steam.
Yeah.
So yeah, Valve has kind of went on a bit of a cleaning spree.
Bender is more like.
Yeah, so I use Steam every now and again. Over the past few years, I've felt that it's been very diluted in terms of the content that's been on. A lot of the stuff that's going on is just like acid flips, or there is a lot of adult visual novels on there, I have noticed, and Valve have taken it upon them to cleanse the marketplace, and every adult visual novel has been targeted for removal, or it's been requested to be censored.
Yeah.
So a few of the creators, Honeypop I know was one of them, Loopysoft and Manga Gamer, who were given emails requesting them to either censor the material or get it off.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's been a good chunk of the anime visual novels that's been targeted in an attempt to remove adult and sexual content from Steam.
But hasn't Valve gone back on that now? Or something like that anyway?
From the sounds of things, it sounds like they have backpedaled, Whether or not they've done it to everybody or if they've just done it to the vocal minority. Now, this is the thing. It's anime, and let's face it, we all know that some things in anime just doesn't look right.
Yeah, I mean, anime is notorious for the level of fan service in certain titles, and visual novels are just as bad. In fact, visual novels are possibly worse because you have to go through various things to get to the fan service. And so it's a lot more interactive in that way. So basically, it's more hidden, it's more subversive with visual novels, I suppose.
Exactly. The thing is, though, that's questioning me is, why have they just gone after the visual novels?
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're talking about sexual content, then games like Dragon Age and The Witcher.
Exactly. Grand Theft Auto is a well-known one.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. We were just talking about Halo. What about the other one? What about Mass Effect?
Yeah.
Especially the new one.
Yeah.
Actually,
Exactly.
that's actually on Steam, is it?
Yeah, the PC, the Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 are on Steam, aren't they?
First two.
Well,
Yeah, there will be the new one. The new one will be on as well, won't it?
There's
I
lots of...
imagine it will be.
The first two are.
Yeah.
So if you want to continue your save, you have to get it off Origin and transfer your save over.
Yes, but even in the first two, there's still lots of jiggery-pokery in the first two, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, to me, personally, I think they've gone after the anime stuff or the visual novel stuff because the easier targets. I think if Valve turned around and said, right, we're taking off The Witcher, Grand Theft Auto, Mass Effect, and Dragon Age, I think this would have taken off a lot more than it has. And I think they've purposely went for the niche audience, the niche stuff, to try and sweep it under the rug before anybody notices.
I think that's part of it. There was something that I came across while I was looking into this, because it caught me by surprise as well. Have you guys heard of the National Centre on Sexual Exploitation?
I've heard of them because of this.
Yeah.
I know that they were pretty chuffed about it and said that it was like...
Victory, they posted a blog article saying Victory, Steam to remove sexually explicit and violent video games from platform.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. I think that they were somehow involved in this, and I think what Valve has done has been a knee-jerk reaction in the way that a lot of companies do. You have something that sounds fairly official and fairly authoritarian coming forward and saying, you've got a problem, you need to fix it straight away, and the company overreacts and goes, oh no, we need to fix this straight away, so let's just go for this, because that's the only one that this centre has focused on, considering them to be an easy target. One of the things that I want to make a note of is, they've focused on visual novels, but games like Hyperdimension Neptunia, Senran Kagura, those sorts of games are still fine to be on Steam, aren't they?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the thing is, though, I would still see stuff like Senran Kagura is a lot more in the public eye than a lot of these visual novels are.
That's what I mean. They're easy targets. They're very, very easy targets because they're basically a very, very niche area. People don't really play visual novels. They're not really that popular unless there is something like Hatful Boyfriend, in which case it's got the oddity factor, which makes people want to play it.
I don't think anybody's going to be offended by that game, though.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
But this is the thing that kind of annoys me about this, is that Steam kind of backpedaling when Manga Gamer and Ubisoft and the rest of them have basically complained. Because I read that all of these games, in order to get onto Steam in the first place, they have to be vetted by Steam, by people from Valve.
To be fair, though, this is something that I've had an issue with Steam, is that we've seen some of the stuff that's going on Steam these days, and they're not really looking at the stuff.
Yeah, I know. This is the thing that's bugging me. These companies are saying, these developers are saying, we've had people from Valve go over this game, it wouldn't be on Steam if they said no.
Yeah.
So somewhere along that line, somewhere along that chain of development, something's gone wrong.
Don't forget as well, I think on Steam, every single Leisure Suit Larry game is on Steam.
Yeah.
All 7 or 8, or how many there are.
Yes, and there are lots of Leisure Suit Larry games.
Yeah, I mean, they are easy targets, and like I said, a lot of them will just go under the radar. One of the things I did notice is that a lot of the stuff is on Good Old Games. some of the stuff is on Humble Bundle, but I think they just give you a code for Steam, so you might be a bit screwed if you get one of them. But one of the other things is that Manga Gamer, one of the ones affected, are actually looking into possibly getting their own platform to start help selling adult visual novels for these people affected. So maybe something that Valve's done is kind of forced them to make another platform which could eventually compete with Valve. So, oh dear.
Yeah, just very quickly, according to this message board I've just found, some of the most perverted games on Steam: Witcher 3, Akiba's Trip, Senran Kagura, the Sakura titles, Hyperdimension Neptunia, Honey Pop, Grand Theft Auto 5, Dead or Alive Final Round, which is actually very, very valid. Necopara.
That was a big one, wasn't it?
Necopara, Age of Barbarian, Skyrim. And have you seen some of the mods for Skyrim? Do I need to say any more than that?
I don't think so, Rob.
The Sims.
Some of those games would just get banned in certain countries, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But do you know what was banned in this country during the 1980s?
What?
Back when I was a kid in school, there was a popular thing called Cabbage Patch Kids, right? Cabbage Patch Kids were a very, very popular toy. They were selling out everywhere. It was kind of the Buzz Lightyear toy of its time.
Right.
And some trading cards came out that were kind of a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids called the Garbage Pail Kids. Now, I was a big fan of the Garbage Pail Kids. And I absolutely loved the Garbage Pail Kids because they had the trading cards, but then they had a TV series, and I think they had a movie as well. They're created by like Art Spiegelman and Mark Newgarden, and the drawings were all done by John Pound. And you had like Nasty Nick and Evil Eddie, Junk Food John, Ray Decay, Upchuck, Adam Bomb, Heaving Stephen, who was a kid who was vomiting all over the place, Fry and Brian, who was a kid in an electric chair, Dead Ted, who was a zombie kid. Art Apart was a Garbage Pail Kid with its limbs removed and lying around it. So it was all very, very horrific. They weren't very nice. They weren't very good, right? And not wholesome for kids, which is why it got banned. Garbage Pail Kids got banned in certain countries. I think they got banned in a lot of schools in the UK, right? That's how controversial they were. And now, though, there's an independent studio called Jago Studios who's in collaborations with the Topps company who did the original trading cards for Garbage Pail Kids. And they're actually working on a mobile title which will be available on the App Store and on Google Play for the Garbage Pail Kids. It's a free-to-play title, so it'll probably have various in-game purchases. But it's weird to me because I grew up with these things, and you guys probably don't know the glory of the Garbage Pail Kids and just how terrible and kind of beautiful they are. They were kind of the Deadpool of their time, right?
Yeah.
They were kind of horrific but hilarious at the same time. And thing is, we are right now in the middle of this massive wave of 80s nostalgia, which I really don't understand. The only people who can be nostalgic about the 80s are people who weren't alive during the 80s.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Bad haircuts, bad fashion, Cold War, bad food. Those are the four things. Those are the four things that you just need to remember about the 80s, right? Yes, we had some cracking action movies, but we had the Cold War. So we needed a lot of entertaining, right? We needed a lot to distract us from the looming threat of a nuclear war.
Right.
And
Fair enough.
the thing is, with the rising popularity of trading card games, like Hearthstone and Gwent and stuff like that, and with the rise in popularity of mobile gaming, and with just this massive wave of 80s nostalgia, I reckon this is going to be a hit.
See, I wasn't there for when it first came out, but I do remember a few attempts for them to bring back Garbage Pail Kids.
They did.
Over the past few years, and those didn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering, will it be a huge hit, or will it just be a huge hit with the people who are actually nostalgic for it, who are there for it, and are still wanting more of it.
I'm aware of the fact that Topps tried to bring back the Garbage Pail Kids. I think they brought them back as recently as like 2015. They tried to bring them back as a trading card thing. And I think that was the wrong format. That's one of the reasons why I think as a mobile game, it might be a hit. It's got more of a chance of being a hit as a mobile game than it does as a trading card. Because
a lot of card games actually do really well on the mobile.
Yeah, and I think Garbage Pail Kids has a massive advantage in that it's an existing title, so it doesn't need a lot of marketing to make people aware of it. The mechanics are already there because it was already there as a trading card thing anyway.
Yeah.
So it's only a short step to actually making it into a mobile game. If they make it into a mobile game that works, then great. I think it's money in the bank because it's 80s nostalgia, and that's a big seller right now. If it wasn't, then, Ready Player One wouldn't make as much money as it did.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I hope, fingers crossed for it. All they need to do, though, is that they need to make sure that people are aware of it when it's actually out, because we see far too many of these mobile games where they come out and then they're popular for a few weeks and they kind of go back under the radar because not enough people know about it.
Yeah. The Garbage Pail Kids actually had a live-action movie.
Oh, yes. I've heard about that. Isn't it considered one of the worst movies ever made?
It is one of the worst movies ever made. And the thing is, it's kind of glorious in that when you go back and watch it now, let's put it this way, you know the Mario movie?
Yeah.
The Bob Hoskins Mario movie, I should say, because they are making the animated one this time. So the Bob Hoskins Mario movie, that one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that in just how stupid it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have the star power.
I mean, I think there was a game for the NES and probably I want to say that either the Amiga or the Commodore 64. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing a boxed version of a Garbage Pail game.
There probably
years
is.
ago, like at one of these, like the gaming conventions.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it, but I was just like, I've never ever seen any gameplay footage of it or anything like that.
There probably is. But yeah, I hope the Garbage Pail Kids will be a hit, because if you're going to do 80s nostalgia, at least choose the good things to be nostalgic about. Don't just focus on things like the Goonies and stuff like that. The 80s was an entire decade. There was much more to it than just the Goonies. That's it from us for this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll find us on YouTube, on Audio Boom, on Apple Podcasts, various other places. Check out all the stuff on our website, thegeekshow.co.uk. We also have a shop and a Patreon, but more importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until the next time, I have been Rob.
And I've been Andy.
And I've been Mark.
We'll see you all later.